Have you ever felt like you were distracted, that your attention had drifted from what you were seeking to accomplish? In this video, we will look at 3 different areas around attention. Prioritise our attention, change our attention to relationships and what we want to accomplish. Distraction. Prioritise your attention. Attention is exceedingly valuable. We are in the information age where it is possible for money to be made simply off of attention. In the past, that attention would have had to have gone with something else, like buying something, walking to market stalls, etc. Attention is a core part of how we improve our lives, creating plans, life visions, etc. They provide a foundation for us to prioritise our attention. As we prioritise our attention, we can keep focused in the direction we want to go, instead of being led in a direction that is away from that. At a subconscious level, based on our personalities, our background, life experiences, we automatically prioritise our attention as part of our human nature, since the world is too vast and too complicated for us to focus on everything. We have language like grasping or grabbing, which can apply to both something literal, like grabbing a mango, or something metaphorical, like grabbing hold of an idea. The key thing about this is for us to have a more precise and detailed focus on something that we need, to place greater amounts of our attention on it. Whereas with less attention, we can have a more general sense of many things around us, like vague shapes in the corners of our eyes. Part of thinking about the prioritization of attention is to bring some of that process to the conscious mind. This means we can mentally interact with where we place our attention. This gives us the ability to create a mental structure for how our attention is prioritized, and then we can change some of our subconscious routines by creating new habits. So now we know we want to set our priorities in our conscious mind. We want to think about how to change that. Change our attention to relationships and what we want to accomplish. We can have many different reasons for things which draw our attention. By aligning our attention with what we want in relationships and what we want to accomplish, we give ourselves a basic measurement to see if the attention we have is placed where we want it. Why are relationships an important part of things? The reason is good friendships, good familial bonds, and good romantic relationships are all areas that can be a great benefit to our lives with the focus of our attention. How we interact with others is one aspect of how we improve our lives. If we do not have accomplishment, then we might have a great time with others, but that may mean we don't have the improvements in other areas that we want. If we have a perspective of only being accomplishment driven, we could damage our relationships if we look at them only through the lens of achievement. For this reason, we want to build both into our perspective for how we use our attention. We can start to build a perspective of seeing the things we want to change about our lives, to make our lives better as the measurement for our attention. When we do this, we end up with clear ideas for what we do and do not spend our time on. Let's think about attention from the place of purpose. Let's say you are watching some videos for relaxing entertainment. We can now measure if what it is will be helpful with our relationships or achieving the things we want to accomplish. We can do this over many things in life, and as we do it, we will build new purposeful attention where we want it. Whilst this will not deal with some of the elements that make us human, like if you saw a large tiger on the screen roaring at you, your instinctual responses will likely draw your focus towards it. After all, the protective instincts we have, particularly against large animals like that, are important parts of human biology. Since the speed of our instincts are quicker than the mental processing of our conscious brain, we will next consider distraction. Distraction is a key defeater for self-improvement. We all have a limited amount of time. The core principle around most things is to keep someone in the system of provision of content. The focus is less on if that content will help the person improve something. The focus is more, will the length of the attention spent keep increasing? The more your attention increases on something that doesn't align with your priorities, the greater the time you are spending on distraction. Let's think about an example of exactly the same thing. However, in one context it is a distraction. In another context it is actually helping facilitate our self-improvement. The example is as watching some entertaining videos. If the watching of those videos means you haven't achieved something else that you actually wanted to do, then that activity has become a distraction. Let's take exactly the same activity we have already done, what we want to achieve. We now need some rest and recovery time so that we can get back to focusing on the improvements we want to make in our lives. Now, the same entertainment, instead of being a distraction, is actually a help to us achieving our goals. We are getting the rest we need in the process, which means we are in a better place to perform at the things we want to improve in. As I have sharpened my own prioritization of my attention, I have been able to achieve more of the things I want to achieve, rather than feeling like I was being led along by someone else's agenda. As you focus your attention on the areas that matter to you, you will unlock time for yourself to achieve the things you want to achieve. Like birds of a feather, we grow together.